Hello there. Today I am gonna show you the top 15 most powerful Spider-Mans. So let's start the video. Spider-Girl. Unlike most of the other spider heroes on this list, Spider-Girl gained her abilities from the Spider Society, a mystical group that worships spider deities. Anya is yet another alternate spider hero to exist in the mainstream Marvel universe, so fittingly, she based much of her crime-fighting career off of Peter Parker's accomplishments. 14th one is Scarlet Spider-Man. While most of these alternate Spider-Men seem like cut-and-paste versions of Peter Parker with only slight differences, Ben Reilly, Scarlet Spider is quite literally a clone of Peter Parker. In the mainstream Marvel universe, one of Spider-Man's foes, the Jackal, used Peter Parker's DNA to create an exact clone of him. However, as the clone mimicked Peter's appearance and abilities, it also mimicked his personality, turning against the Jackal in order to pursue his own superhero career. He went on to be one of the most interesting Spider-Man characters in the comics, undergoing a rather interesting arc as he adapted to life as a clone. Much like Scarlet Spider, Cindy Moon, Silk is another one of the rare alternate Spider-Men who actually comes from the mainstream Marvel universe. In fact, her origin is tied in with Peter's, as she was bitten by the same radioactive spider moments after Peter was bitten. Though it wasn't for several more years that Cindy Moon actually became Silk, the origins were the same nonetheless. While Silk's strength level is a little bit weaker than Peter's, her other abilities make her stand out as a more formidable hero. Her agility blows Peter away, as does her spider sense, which is more sensitive than almost any other spider hero fans have ever seen. Finally, Silk can actually spin webs out of her fingertips without the use of mechanical web shooters. 12th one is Original Spider-Man. Peter Parker from Earth 616 is the classic and original Spider-Man. Everyone already knows this character's backstory. He gained his powers after being bit by a radioactive spider while at a science exhibit. He then learns the value of responsibility after his uncle's death. Spider-Man is the heart of New York. He is one of the most beloved superheroes, amongst fans and peers alike due to his nobility, courage, and strength. He may not be the most powerful version of the character, but his feats and accomplishments through sheer will alone make him one of the most powerful and pure versions of the Spider-Man persona. 11th one is Superior Spider-Man. Another spider hero from the mainstream Marvel universe is the Superior Spider-Man, aka Otto Octavius, aka Doc Ock. After a rather confusing incident where Peter and Otto essentially switched minds, Otto became stuck in the body of Peter Parker while the mind of Peter lost his life in the body of Otto. Finally being able to understand the motivations of his nemesis, Otto had a change of heart and promised to continue the life of Peter in his body. Essentially, the Superior Spider-Man had all of the strength of Peter Parker combined with the off-the-charts genius intellect of Otto Octavius. Otto certainly surpassed Peter in his time as one of the strongest Spider-Men, even if it was short-lived. 10th one is Poison. Anytime a symbiote gets its hands on Peter Parker it usually means trouble, but what would happen if the Venom symbiote were to fully merge with Peter Parker permanently? That's what happened in the alternate universe of the Peter Parker that would become Poison. In a What If? Tale about Peter Parker rejecting the Spider Totem God's offer to be reborn, the symbiote senses that Peter Parker's body is vulnerable and latches onto his barely clinging to life corpse. Although a mental battle rages on for months, eventually the symbiote fully takes over Parker and renames himself as Poison. While Poison seemingly possesses all the regular souped-up versions of his regular powers courtesy of a symbiote, he is also capable of producing stingers that are able to penetrate the skin of the normal impenetrable Luke Cage. If Poison is able to do that to one of Marvel's most durable heroes, that is a scary show of force. 9th one is Miles Morales. Miles Morales is perhaps the second most popular iteration of the Spider-Man character next to Peter Parker. Like Peter, he already has a solo animated movie and video game. He made his appearance in the Ultimate run of the Marvel Comics until his universe eventually merged with Earth 616. Aside from sharing almost every moral ground as Peter Parker's, they also share almost the exact same abilities. However, Miles has unique abilities that Peter doesn't, like his bio-electrokinesis and his ability to turn invisible. Once Miles gets more experience under his belt and masters his powers, he would likely surpass Peter Parker in terms of pure ability. 8th one is Spider-Man, Earth 92100. In Earth 92100, Peter Parker engineers a potion that's supposed to eliminate his powers. Instead, the potion caused him to grow 4 extra arms, 2 on each side. Peter frantically tries to find a cure, opting for help from Dr. Connors, Professor X, and Reed Richards, all to no avail. At one point, Peter encountered and fought against Dr. Octopus. It is during this encounter Peter embraced his extra limbs, seeing how beneficial they are in a fight. It is also because of his extra limbs that Peter managed to save his Gwen Stacy from the Green Goblin. 7th one is Spider-Man 2099. Another person wears the Spider-Man mantle in 2099. This person is Miguel O'Hara. Miguel is a geneticist who gained spider powers after imbuing himself with 50% spider DNA. His abilities and strengths are similar to that of 616 Spider-Man, with new extra additions. Aside from having superhuman strength, speed, reflexes, stamina, and agility, Miguel also has talons and fangs which immobilize enemies. His webs are also organic, unlike the original Spider-Man. 6th one is Ghost Spider-Man. In Earth 11638, Uncle Ben never died. Instead, he helped train Peter when he gained his spider powers. This Peter is initially far from heroic. He used his resources to create a machine that brings in other Spider-Men from other universes and absorbs their powers to make him stronger. This eventually caused him to have a run-in with Peter Parker from Earth 616. 616 Peter managed to persuade the other Peter that his actions weren't heroic. However, before they reached a conclusion, the alternate Peter got his powers sucked in by the machine. They put him into a coma, and his spirit got trapped in hell. He eventually got out with the help of Dr. Banner, who is this universe's Sorcerer Supreme, who did so by infusing Peter with the spirits and powers of the damned. Peter woke up having the powers of the Ghost Rider. 5th one is Spider-Wolf. Although Spider-Wolf appeared in only a single issue, Amazing Spider-Man Volume 3 number 11, he had the potential of being one of the strongest Spideys ever. He comes from an alternate universe, Earth 13989, where it's presumed that many of its inhabitants are werewolves. We don't know much about Spider-Wolf other than that he has all the skills that our regular Spidey has, except that he can turn into a werewolf. That made him so much more incredibly powerful, which Karn, a supervillain battling the Spider-Verse heroes, realized before the other Spidey could reach out to Spider-Wolf. He killed him before joining other Spider-Men, but not before the werewolf Spidey displayed his incredible skills. Had his run been longer, we'd probably look at one of the most powerful versions of the web-slinger ever. 4th one is Spider-Cyborg. Spider-Cyborg lives in an alternate, apocalyptic universe. He's also named Peter Parker, but after gaining his Spider-Man abilities, he also got modified cybernetically to become way more powerful than your regular, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Spider-Cyborg has cybernetic legs, metal claws, and enhanced eyesight. But, the attribute he uses the most is his right arm that's turned into a sonic cannon, capable of destroying anything in its path. Spider-Cyborg is definitely one of the strongest Spideys in the Spider-Verse, but unfortunately, we never got to see just how mighty he could have been. Like Spider-Wolf, the supervillain Karn realized how dangerous Spider-Cyborg could be if he joined the other Spider-Verse heroes, so he targeted him before they could get to him. 3rd one is Spider-Hulk. In the Immortal Hulk Great Power series, readers are introduced to one of the most bizarre and powerful versions of the Spider-Man character, Spider-Hulk. This character is born after Bruce Banner becomes freed of the Hulk. Ever the immortal, the Hulk finds a new host, Peter Parker. This gives Peter the power of the Hulk, on top of his spider powers. Spider-Hulk is essentially a fusion between the Spider-Man and Hulk characters. While normal, Peter maintains his spider powers. However, when he gets angry, he gets transformed into a green, powerful, mindless brute. 2nd one is Zombie Spider. While the MCU's version of Marvel Zombies may have been a bit creepy, it's nothing compared to the terror that the comic Marvel Zombies wreaked across the multiverse. After being infected, heroes for the most part keep their personalities and powers, but cannot help but crave human flesh. While this Spider-Man is already more powerful than other versions due to his status as a zombie, he doesn't feel pain, which is very useful in combat. But at one point, this Peter Parker was granted a portion of the power cosmic, the same source of power used by the Silver Surfer. The Power Cosmic grants a ridiculous amount of powers ranging from time travel, channeling beams of energy, teleportation, and more. When Zombie Spider-Man had this power, he may have been the strongest wall crawler in the multiverse, although he would later use these powers. First one is Cosmic Spider-Man. Cosmic Spider-Man is undoubtedly the most powerful variation of the character. In the Acts of Vengeance storyline, Peter absorbs a mysterious power known as the Enigma Force. This gives him unspeakable powers and earning him the title of Captain Universe, the physical form of the Uni-Power, energy believed to be the manifestation of the universe itself. Cosmic Spider-Man is so powerful that he was strong enough to punch the Grey Hulk into orbit. After becoming Captain Universe, Spider-Man gained a plethora of extraordinary abilities only exhibited by the most powerful beings in Marvel Comics. He became virtually invulnerable, he gained the ability to manipulate matter, his spider senses reached cosmic proportions, he gained the power of flight and can travel 99% of the speed of light, among so many others. While Peter from Earth 616 eventually lost the Captain Universe title, the Spider-Man from Earth 91110 kept his powers a bit longer. These are the top 15 most powerful Spider-Man version. And there are a lot of another type of Spider-Man version. Comment which is your favorite Spider-Man. See you again.